I literally don't know what this is that I'm about to drink, but
I like to get
it's liquor.
shit-faced.
I'm Mike Dangerous,
I
and this is Talking Shots.
don't know. That's about all. I like
Sword chief, it's the return of the blade and slice shade, getting paid into my silhouette fades. Immersing.
It's engraved in all our memories. Funny enough, Cartoon Network goes beyond the network itself, whether it be from its humble beginnings replaying old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, to its beginnings with original programming, to the start of Adult Swim and Toonami. It's had its impact on all of us to an extent. Cartoon Network was the result of Turner Entertainment Company purchasing Hanna-Barbera and needing a network other than the already existing Turner Network Television to show Hanna-Barbera's massive backlog of animation. Cartoon Network would be officially launched on February 18, 1992. This was Turner's second time launching a single genre TV network, building off the success of CNN being the first 24-hour news station. For the first year, the network wouldn't really see any original programming. The Moxie Show would be the first original show that Cartoon Network would produce, but I'm pretty sure none of you remember that one.
And now, it's time for the Moxie Show!
This one's a shoe. In 1994, Space Ghost Coast to Coast launched, and it pretty much became Cartoon Network's poster child at the time. The show would use primarily recycled animation cells from Hanna-Barbera's archive. Ironically enough, a callback to practices Hanna-Barbera made common at the time. The show also played a huge part in getting the attention of older audiences. Hanna-Barbera's new division, Cartoon Network Studios, was founded that same year and started production with What a Cartoon, a cartoon anthology show. Most of Cartoon Network's most iconic shows got their start as shorts here, Dexter's Laboratory being the first to be greenlit, and soon after shows like Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken, I Am Weasel, The Powerpuff Girls, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and Mike, Lou, and Og. Rounding out the lineup with my personal favorite, Ed, Edd n Eddy in 1999. This is the Cartoon Network most of you my age will remember most fondly. For a lot of us, these were the cartoons that we grew up with, the same way that our parents grew up with the Hanna-Barbera cartoons that inspired these shows. It wasn't the last type of cartoons that we would be exposed to, however. If you grew up in the West, chances are you were first exposed to anime thanks to a couple little shows like Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, and Gundam Wing. Toonami dropped in 1997, and it was originally hosted by Moltor from Space Ghost. It wasn't until 1999 that we got the host that we all know and love, Tom, voiced by the legendary Steve Bloom.
I got the results of the test back. I definitely have April Fools.
God, I'm hard. Anime also played a big part in the start of Cartoon Network's Adult Swim block. Adult Swim first aired on September 2nd, 2001 at 10 p.m. with its original show, Home Movies. I actually remember seeing Adult Swim air for the first time on that day and being a really confused little 5-year-old boy. Aside from being a place to create content that wouldn't necessarily be kosher to host on Cartoon Network, Adult Swim's experimental nature allowed for more original and inventive shows. You didn't see that kind of experimentation and originality on television at that time. And a lot of the experimentation that we see online today resembles a lot of what was going on Adult Swim. Cartoon Network has always been a network ran by animators, artists, and fans of others' work, and thus it felt like we, the audience, were always part of a big inside joke. The shows were self-aware and always on our level. I think the reason that we all still hold Cartoon Network in high regards isn't because of the nostalgia, although that's a big part of it. I feel like a lot of us can go back and re-watch these shows and still enjoy them. Cartoons from that era were just smarter than what most people gave them credit for, and a lot of that spirit is still found in the shows Cartoon Network has today. A lot of these ideals would go on to inspire many creators that we have today, and that's a beautiful thing. Me personally, I haven't watched Cartoon Network in a long time, but I hope they stick around for a long time.
Honestly, my earliest memories would have to be the feud between Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, and Nickelodeon. I remember people would actually fight of which channel had the best shows. I remember that real quick. I remember I got into fights of like which channel was better, you know, Zack and Cody or Foster's Home Imaginary Friends. Like, I remember that clearly. My mom never liked Courage the Cowardly Dog. I actually got grounded from watching the show because my mom really didn't like the graphics. Yeah, that's basically it, really, that I could think of at the very moment. Yeah, that's basically it.
I remember when I was on the phone with my friend one night. We were like 10 or 11, and we just had no appreciation for the art of conversation. You know, So instead of just hanging up when the conversation reached its like 7th lull, instead of just hanging up, because we weren't going to hang up, we were both needy. We were both desperately needy children. We were best friends, and I think that's the only thing we had in common. We would sit there and listen to the other person's silent phone static all night in complete silence, but we wouldn't hang up. We'd never hang up for anything. So I just go, "What are you doing? What are you doing right now?" And he tells me, "Oh man, I'm watching Naruto on Cartoon Network. You should check it out. I think it's a good show. You'd like it. You really like it, I think." He was constantly trying to get me into Naruto. Alright? Probably because we had nothing else to talk about. But I said, what the hell? You know, these iCarly reruns aren't going anywhere. I'll flip over to Cartoon Network, check it out. So I flip over to Cartoon Network, and I remember the first thing I see. There's this pale, androgynous man with long black hair. He's naked, completely naked, hunched over in the shower. And he's bleeding out of his arms. There's blood gushing out of this poor guy's arms. And there's blood all over the shower floor, all over him. And this guy with the gray hair, he's just standing there going, what? What do you want me to do? That's what happens. You try to kill the mayor, that's what happens. You try to kill the mayor of the Leaf City. And the androgynous guy's going, I need Sasuke! Where's Sasuke? Bring me the boy! You know? And I don't think this show's for me. Alright? You enjoy watching it. I'm gonna hang up now. You have a good time. It was one of the more confusing moments in the 4th grade for me, but I remember being impressed with the sheer diversity of the programming on Cartoon Network. I mean, it just goes to show that back in the early 2000s, when you were flipping through those channels and you stumbled upon Cartoon Network, you didn't know what you were going to find.
It's so crazy that the shows that we grew up watching are now on Boomerang. Boomerang was the channel that I would go watch when I wanted to see what my parents would watch back in the day. And aside from making me feel ancient, I think that it goes to show that good animation truly is timeless. So what do you think? What are some of your favorite Cartoon Network shows from back in the day? What are some of your favorite memories watching Toonami and Adult Swim? We want to hear from you, so let us know what you think in the comments down below. If you haven't yet, you can buy our t-shirts. They're kind of cute, like me. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. I'm your boy Mike Dangerous, and this was Talking Shots.